I told you that almost everything you're doing to try to make yourself more attractive to people actually pushes them further away? Sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal three things. Firstly, why chasing people and trying harder so frequently pushes them further away. Secondly, what it is really that makes us more attractive and irresistible, and why we so often get that wrong. And thirdly, the simple shift that transforms you from being a side character to being the protagonist in your own life. If you've clicked on this video, the chances are that you are all too familiar with that sinking feeling of being left behind, overlooked, not picked. And you're probably used to asking yourself questions like, why am I always the one doing the chasing and never being chased? Why is it that when I'm nice and pleasant and agreeable, people are pushed away? That seems kind of backwards. Am I doing something wrong? Do I smell weird? Am I just fundamentally unlovable? What's the deal? The truth is, as painful as it might be, our chasing and the pushing away that it does is not actually the deepest problem. It is a symptom of a much deeper issue. So let's jump right in and talk about why we are here. Why is it that trying harder, pursuing people, pushes them away? We show that we like people, we go out of our way to include them, make them happy, whatever the case might be. Externally, that seems like a natural situation that would lead to a positive outcome. And yet, if you are watching this video, I'm sure you have experienced at least once, maybe multiple times, that this can have the unintended consequence of making that person like you less, which feels, at face value, quite backwards, right? So let's explain why this happens. This is the secret. It's not really the pursuing of the other person that pushes them away. It's not really being nice, being polite, whatever, that pushes people away. That's not the issue. Really, what you are doing is a form of self-abandonment. When we go around consistently minimizing ourselves, going along with everybody, afraid of what they think, afraid of what they might say, afraid to be ourselves, afraid to show up, make a joke, laugh, to be seen. When we are afraid to do all of those things, what we are signaling everybody else is this person won't pick themselves. And when we do this over and over, when we people please, when we're nice, when we avoid conflict, we have a hard time standing up for ourselves. We might get in situations with our friends, we're uncomfortable, but we go along with it because we're going to choose them in hopes that they choose us. We want to fit in, we want to be chosen, so we reject ourselves. When we do this over and over and over, what we are actually signaling, disregard the emotional context for a second, on a pure economics level, we are lowering our own value because the demand for us does not even include us. We're saying, I am not even worth my own effort. Please pick me. I'm not even gonna stand up for myself. Please pick me, please like me. I don't like me, but would you stand up for me? Would you? That would be great. The problem is that this almost always stems from an untrue, deeper rooted belief that we are somehow flawed, unworthy, unlovable, not enough, whatever the case might be. So as long as I go into a situation with the belief that nobody will ever like me, then it makes sense for me to try to fit what I think they want. Be this way for this person, be this way for this person, avoid the conflict, be nice. All in order to hopefully get them to like me because that's what I desperately need because I believe that no one's ever gonna like me. It's a bit of a loop there, right? And if you have been conditioned through your experience, through your childhood, your culture, whatever, to consistently minimize yourself, not think of yourself as being worthy, to not consider your own needs, then what you are likely to do is sit around trying to get other people to pick you, consistently avoiding giving yourself that permission because it's terrifying and there's that inner feeling, who are you to do this? Who are you to try? What it comes down to is that in most cases, when we are pushing people away, it's because we are afraid to choose ourselves. We are afraid to pick ourselves and give ourselves permission to do whatever, to exist, to ask somebody out, to ask for a raise, to make a mistake, to go on a new trip, quit our job, start a job, whatever. We are afraid, and we hope that somebody in our insecurity is going to come by and say, hey, you there, I choose you. That's the root of the whole issue right there. We are saying, I'm not going to pick me because I don't think I'm worth anything. Remember that value equation. I'm not picking me. Please love me. That would be great. And when you think about that, if that's the deeper underlying dynamic, is it any wonder that it pushes people away? Because they've got their own shit going on. They're living their own life. They don't need that tossed onto them, because all of us sometimes can struggle with that internal up and down, right? And the added weight of somebody coming at you saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, even if it's subtle, even if it's only on an emotional level, they might not rationally understand why they feel the need to create distance. And that brings us to the second part of this video, which is, what is it really that makes us attractive, magnetic, brings people in rather than repelling them? I guess magnets kind of do both of those things, but we'll pretend in this case magnetic means bringing stuff to you. What is it that makes people attractive? What if you gave yourself that internal permission to try? What if you picked yourself? Might feel scary, but you don't have to wait anymore, right? You're no longer at the mercy of the situation. You're no longer at the mercy of the world. You no longer chase after a specific person or a specific job with the idea that they're gonna fix me, this is what I need, this is the thing. Because you're whole, you're complete. No matter what happens, you're still gonna be whole and complete, right? And I think that often what actually makes people more attractive is that aliveness. It's the people who are passionate, who are in it. You might find somebody physically attractive, but often the thing that deeply connects you to a person is their vitality, their essence, their feeling of who they really are, and their passion, and their drive, and their aliveness. And that is why choosing yourself makes you more attractive. Not purely in a relationship, romantic, transactional sense. That might be a side effect, that might be important. But choosing yourself is important because it allows you to be alive, to be where you are, and not judge yourself for it, not worry about it, not compare it to ideas and concepts, not to get stuck in your head. We become a shell of a person who doesn't try new things. We're afraid to give ourselves permission. We're afraid to pick ourselves. And then we say, if you, oh, living great person out there, were to pick me, that would make me feel so happy. But instead to engage in life, to be who and where you are. That's what makes you magnetic, attractive, brings people towards you, is you are alive. You're not a dead concept that's begging for recognition, but you're an alive, embodied, excited, enthusiastic person. I'm not saying that makes you perfect. You're gonna still have ups and downs, but you can be in it, right? Because you're picking yourself. And I don't say pick yourself to mean everything has to be about you. Often we don't pick ourselves when we don't let ourselves be authentic or vulnerable, right? I might feel like I need to share something negative about myself. I might want to reveal part of my inner wounds or doubts to somebody. And that voice says, no, might hurt the way they think about you. Better to keep that stuff inside. In that case, picking yourself would say, no, I would like to express this. I'm not so worried what's going to happen because I know the bigger action, the bigger success is in the doing. But when we live in that fear, in that waiting, in that not giving ourselves permission, not feeling confident in ourselves, what happens is we disempower ourselves so much. We start to live a life that's quite like death. We are afraid to try new things, to get out of our comfort zone, to give ourselves permission to enter the unknown. Life is unknown. It is changed. That's the only constant, right? We want things to always be the same. Nothing new, nothing unexpected. How crazy is that? We want to live our lives like we are dead, like everything is already known. Where are you not choosing yourself? Where are you waiting? Where are you saying, yeah, maybe next year, maybe later, maybe if I feel more confident? And where do you need to give yourself that permission to try, to fail? Who cares? You care. Nobody else cares. You might care because failure, if you're afraid, if you have that deep feeling of I can't actually do it, failure becomes confirmation for what we already believe about ourselves. How stupid is that? We live our lives trying to avoid confirming words in our head. They're words, they're not real. You are real, right? You're a physical, embodied creature. And we live our lives based on words bouncing around in our head. Bits of invented language that we think define us are more real than us. How could that even be a thing? I digress. We're getting too off track here. Let's bring it back to the third point in this video, which is stop being an NPC in your life. Stop being a side character. Be a protagonist in your own life. This is how to change. Start finding little tiny opportunities. They don't have to be huge, but opportunities where you would normally tell yourself no and say, why should I do that? Why should I feel that way? This is incredibly disempowering. It puts us into that energy of fear, scarcity, and we live our lives more like death. Start small, but build the habit of picking yourself, of honoring that intention, that voice, that true essential you that you so often disregard. Because that is what you are hoping other people will pick. And you're not even picking it. The deeper opportunity when you want to be chosen is to realize that it's because you're abandoning yourself. And you don't deserve that. You deserve to be chosen, at least by yourself. And then other people will see that as well. But the problem is that when you're running around in the energy of lack, insecurity, of not enoughness, we desperately crave that attention, that validation so heavily that it clouds our vision. And to be honest, you clicked this video for that reason, most likely. You clicked because there's some part of you that desperately wants to be seen and recognized. And what I would challenge you with is that that is the part of you that you need to see and recognize. Not anybody else. It's not going to freaking matter if anybody else sees it. It matters that you start to recognize that is the area where you tell yourself no, where you tell yourself you're not good enough, where you tell yourself can't, won't, shouldn't, whatever. Endless limitation, endless judgment. Stepping out of that, the other side offers inherently so much possibility, and it's not even something you really have to start doing. It's something you need to stop doing. Stop telling yourself no. Stop denying yourself. Start picking yourself. Picking yourself is easy. You just do it. The denying and rejecting and censoring is the thing that's been going on for so long, it's second nature for most of us. And the true freedom is in stepping out of that and to the other side. Imagine what possibility that could create in your life if you were allowed to choose yourself. You were allowed to pursue things that you are interested in, and you didn't feel the need to wait for other people to come give you permission or to wait for people to come chase you. Instead, you just chose yourself. You just did it. Maybe other people get on board, maybe not. And you don't have to be a jerk about these things, right? This isn't saying like stand up for yourself, don't care about anybody else, no. I'm saying be a real person. Be authentic, be vulnerable, it sounds so cliche, but be yourself, but really be alive. That's the core message, is step back into that energy of life and let it open your eyes a little bit. And what makes us more attractive, more connected, what brings other people to us is when we step back into the energy of life, when we live fully and wholeheartedly. I would encourage you to commit to, in the next week, do something that pushes you a little bit in that area. It doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to be incredibly difficult, but just something that previously would have felt a little, I'm not going to do that, I don't know, I don't feel... Give yourself permission to choose yourself. Could be a small thing, could be a big thing, but do something this week to prove to yourself that you are worth it. You can do it, and you don't have to sit around and wait. If you'd like further help with this, I offer one-on-one coaching and helping people who are ready to step into that new frame, and they're still struggling with a few blocks, but they want to move to what's on the other side. Helping kind of work through that stage and come up with that next step, what it's going to look like, what it's going to take. That is something I'm very passionate about helping people with. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, there is a link in the description. If at the end of this you're left feeling like, yes, but there's still a little bit of unresolved pain, maybe from a breakup, then check out this video right here. It goes further into abandonment and that self-abandonment in regards to breakups. And check out this video right here on inner child wounds, where they come from, and healing them. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.